Hi everyone, it's Allie, and I'm here for the week 2 video wrap up in the Queen's Gambit script analysis class. And one of my little kittens is here with me today. Little Ivory, she would like to say hello, and usually students like it when my kittens appear in the videos or the Zoom. There you go, Ivory. So anyway, we're here at the end of week 2, getting ready for week 3. And if you have not yet completed the week 2 discussion forum, make sure to do that. And I did want to mention how pleased I am with how the discussion forums have gone thus far. So both in week 1 as well as those of you who have been completing that already here in week 2. If you haven't yet completed that, make sure to do that along with the adaptation assignment, and that is due this week as well. We started working on that last week, and we'll finish that up this week. And for those of you who've already completed it, I hope you did have fun with this assignment. That was one of the goals. And if you have not yet completed it, you'll be able to do this assignment over the course of the weekend, and you should be able to have fun with it while doing so. So again, if you haven't yet gotten to that, make sure to do so this weekend. And that is worth 20 points, so not getting it in isn't a great idea. I will accept late work as well, but late work will be deducted a point per day. So just to be clear about that. And then next week, week 3, we're moving into looking at the Queen's Gambit through a different lens. And we're going to look at the Queen's Gambit in week 3 through a trauma-informed lens. And we'll take a pretty close look here at mental illness and trauma and how that can impact mental illness as well as addiction issues. And here in the first couple of episodes of the limited series, as well as the novel that we read, we've already seen Beth have encounters with addictive substances and display addictive tendencies as early as age 9. Now, it is unusual to become addicted to tranquilizers at that age, but this was a pretty common practice at this era of time in the 1950s to medicate children in orphanages to keep them more compliant. And so that's something to think about. How were people in institutions treated compared to how they are today, and what kind of medicines were used for children and why? And so that's something to think about. We've also seen through flashbacks in particular, we've seen episodes of mental illness being displayed by her mother, and the book also went into that. So there is a family history that we can see here with Beth, and some of these are clearly stated and other things are kind of alluded to. And so I'm hoping to hear what you all have to say about that as well. And I guess I did want to kind of have a warning about it. I myself have had issues with trauma, mental illness, and substance abuse in my personal life, and so I'm assuming that students may have had these kinds of things come up to you in your past as well, either personally or family or friends. And so it's very rare that none of us would have butted up against some of these issues at some point in your life. And so I did want to kind of have a trigger warning on the material we will be covering next week. And if anyone would like to talk to me about anything, I'm very here for you all, and am readily available in messages and email, but we could also Zoom or have a telephone conversation if you would like as well. The other thing I just wanted to kind of mention is, if this kind of stuff, these topics are difficult for you, engage in what they call self-care. And so if it's too much, step away, go do something that you enjoy, go watch an episode of TV that doesn't have any kind of trauma in it, get away from your coursework for a little bit, go play toys. I'm a Lego person. I love my Legos. They're all over my desk. So if I'm having trouble with too much seriousness or intensity, maybe I'll go play with Legos for like 10 minutes, like I did when I was a kid, and then come back and be able to engage with the topic again. And if it is too much, if you're just having struggling with it and want to talk to me about that, we can look at different options as well. But I don't want to catch anyone off guard where we're talking about a television show, even though it's in the show, and then to jump into looking at it with a psychological and trauma informed lens. So I do find this really interesting, and I'm hoping that students do as well. But I also wouldn't want to be caught off guard, and so I'm trying to give you the same courtesy that I would have appreciated, and by letting you know about that before we jump into our studies. So next week there will be a 10-point quiz along with our week 3 discussion forum, and we will be screening episodes number 3 and 4 next week, and these will both have issues of addiction and trauma and mental illness kind of alluded to the way that we've already seen here in the first couple of episodes. And there has been a lot of trauma in young Beth's life. I mean, we saw to begin with, there is something going on when she's in the future in Paris. We see that as the show begins, and it looks as if she's had possibly like a bit of a too much of a night out, and then she has to get to her chess tournament. So we also have had this be alluded to, that this isn't just a problem from being given tranquilizers at the orphanage as a child, but that she'll carry this further into her life. And so looking at how addiction does often manifest in people who've had trauma in their backgrounds is really relevant. And like I said, I hope you all find it interesting, and that our discussions are still robust when we switch from adaptations to this differing lens. And as we're starting to think about final papers, which are due at the end of week 5, this is also an avenue of inquiry. If this interests you, if looking at the Queen's Gambit through a psychological lens, through a trauma-informed lens, focusing on Beth's struggles and her resilience, if any of those or all of the above is an avenue of inquiry that interests you, that would work really well for a final paper. And if you're struggling with how to get it down to a manageable form, I'm also very here to help you as you do that. So anyway, make sure to finish up this adaptation assignment here in week 2, and then get ready to turn your attention to looking at the Queen's Gambit with this trauma-informed lens. And thank you so much for your attention.